So how do you listen? Well, the first thing I said is pay attention. Eye contact can help. Try to understand both the feeling and content. When you're listening, you can ask those questions, as I said, to get curious. So with Jared, I said, well, tell me what relief looked like, and tell me more about this, and what about this is important to you? And, you know, you can ask those kinds of questions just to draw out more from somebody. So when it comes to antecedents, antecedent management is it's a part of parenting that's underrated and very important. Antecedents are triggers to challenging behavior. And so as parents and teachers, it's our responsibility to identify the triggers that are challenging our children. They can't do it. And it can be all kinds of things, from hunger and fatigue to a life event of a parent going to work, a sibling being ill, a new baby. It can be certain times. Antecedents can be things that happen to a child that you don't even know about. And if you can get into this way of listening, you have a really good chance of your child talking to you. Put it this way. If a child has prickly behavior and they're really getting out there, and we just end up punishing them or just reacting, on the back end of the behavior, then chances of that kid actually talking about what's going on become pretty well zero. And if they're being bullied or abused, we are actually stopping the process of getting that information, because instead what we're doing is we're just punishing them and making things worse. So antecedent management is a very big part of parenting. Okay, so we pay attention, we listen, we try to understand the feeling and content, we dig in, we attend to body language. They say body language is 90% of our communication. Who comes up with these percentages? Who figures that out? I mean, but certainly it is. So just think of the phrase, I love you, and how body language, you attach body language to that. So let me just try some different body language. I love you. I love you. I love you. Each tone of voice and way of speaking says something different. So we also want to watch somebody's body language. And sometimes that can be confusing when their body language doesn't match what they're saying, like I mentioned earlier. None of this will work. And by work, none of it will land well if you are not connecting with the person in front of you. If you're just using a skill with an agenda, and this is what we've got to watch as parents. I'll get into this more next week. But when our agenda is to do a little listening and then teach them to behave differently, it will backfire. Your kid can smell your agenda a mile away. And being taught a lesson in that moment doesn't work, and it actually makes the behavior worse. So behavior will get worse when we do this teaching a lesson. People say, well, don't we go into problem solving? Do you get what I'm saying? Not when you're supposed to be listening. There's a phrase that we use in counseling. If you go into problem solving, it's called serving tea and cookies in the bathroom. Someone comes over for tea and cookies, they use your washroom, and you knock on the bathroom door and start serving tea and cookies. Chances are they won't be back. It's too soon, your timing's off. And, problem solving and strategies come later. We are far too fast to go into solving problems. Even if it's much later before you solve a problem.